Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here with us on our YouTube channel. As usual, we're going to carry on with our lessons. Today's topic is overcoming the burdening of the heart. We're just going to carry on with the same topic with selected excerpts, and we're going to carry on with excerpt number 3 for this topic. If you have any questions, you can shoot them through as usual, and we'll do our best to clarify what we're reading. And on top of that, if you're new to the YouTube channel, you can always go to Kabbalah.info and check out the authentic wisdom of Kabbalah from our information-loaded website. All right, so let's get smashing. So, overcoming the burdening of the heart is the topic, the third excerpt. That's where we are. What is half a shekel in the work number 2? Through the hardening of the heart, the lack appears sufficiently, and the Creator knows when the measure is sufficient, when the Kli is completed. Therefore, sometimes a person escapes the campaign when he sees that he has already prayed a lot in his opinion, but the Creator does not notice him. Therefore, he says that the Creator does not want to answer him, and therefore he runs. And yet a person must always overcome. Okay, let's read a second time. Through the hardening of the heart, the lack appears sufficiently, and the Creator knows when the measure is sufficient, when the Kli is completed. So basically, we're getting a lot of dissents when we study the wisdom of Kabbalah. So there are always ascents and descents on the path. But as we study more and more, what happens is we grow also our coarseness, right? Our ego is also growing all the time. So with time, as we study more and more, we begin to understand that we're also accompanied by this heaviness. Therefore, sometimes a person escapes the campaign when he sees that he's already prayed a lot in his opinion, but the Creator does not notice him. Now, this is classic, and we get a lot of students who say, well, you know, we're praying a lot, we're always Therefore, he says that the Creator does not want to answer him, and therefore he runs. And yet a person must always overcome. So no matter what happens, whether the Creator gives us a reply or not, what we have to do is we have to just keep pushing forward and overcome the situation. The reason he says that is because what I think to be sufficient may not be sufficient according to the Creator. Also, when we're doing things when we're kids, right? So sometimes we do something and we'll get a payback as soon as possible, but it doesn't really work out that way. So when we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah and we want to attain something called spirituality, called the attribute of bestowal and love of others, we have to understand that this change in character, or this change in nature, basically, is a fundamental change. It's not going to happen overnight because it's completely opposite our current nature. So whatever happens, we just have to understand that, you know, there's a time for everything, and that time isn't necessarily when I think is the time. Excerpt number 4. This is from article number 13, come on to Pharaoh 2. Why has the Creator hardened man's heart, and he cannot win the war against the inclination by himself? The answer is, so man will cry out to the Creator, and by that will have the Kli. Why has the Creator hardened man's heart, and he cannot win the war against the inclination by himself? The answer is, so man will cry out to the Creator, and by that will have the Kli. So first of all, we have to understand that whatever we want to change inside of us needs to come clear as we study. And then we have to understand that whatever I'm changing is a change, or whatever I want to change is a change in my nature. And a bit of a problem with that is I can't change my own nature. Only the creator can. So the whole concept here is, in order to build this connection with the creator, I have to understand the situation I'm in. So on the one hand, I want to change because as I study more and more, I see the bad side in me. I see the evil in me. It's called the recognition of evil. And on top of that, once I start to recognize my evil nature, I begin to want to change. And then this wanting to change needs to happen because on the one hand, how's that going to happen? On the one hand, I want to change because I see my evil side. On the other hand, I realize I cannot change myself. So there's a dilemma here. But this dilemma is really good because according to this dilemma, you can have a connection with the creator. Same thing with our children, right? When they want to get something, when they want something from us, they're always whinging and screaming and crying and so on. Why? They understand they can't get it by their own strength, so they need us. And if it's something they want, they just cry about it all the time so we can give it to them. That way, actually, we're building some kind of a relationship with the kids, aren't we? So they're asking for something and we're providing something for them. So this give and take builds this relationship between the parents and the children. And same here. So this give and take is going to build our relationship with the creator. In fact, it's also going to build the right kind of desire that I should have in order to have some kind of an answer from the creator as well. Okay, so this hardening of the heart doesn't just bring me to a demand or a desire, but it makes me sharper in terms of what I need to change. All right, you guys stop me if there are any questions around. Okay, so there is. Yeah. All right, I'm not good with sign language, so you guys are going to have to tell me to write it down. Okay.
Can you please read what I wrote you?
Okay. Oh, we were. Okay, right. So we would. Okay, never mind. So we were supposed to start at 6, but we started at 3. Doesn't matter. That's fine. I'll go to 6 now. Excerpt number 6. For each innovation he had revealed to us in the Torah, which brought us elation and great confidence to dedicate our lives only for the sake of the Creator, there promptly came a hardening of the heart, as in for I have hardened his heart, so we would later be able to make our own choice, as this is called labor without support. His intention was to bring us to the desired wholeness. Right, let's read it again. For each innovation he had revealed to us in the Torah, which brought us elation and great confidence to dedicate our lives only for the sake of the Creator, there promptly came a hardening of the heart. All right, so up to here. Okay, in every step, when we advance in spirituality, in every step, everything is accompanied by this hardness he's talking about. So our ego is increasing all the time. So whenever I want some spiritual elevation, which is love and bestowal, what will happen is also an increase in my egoism. Okay, which will make it a little bit more harder for me to actually practice love and bestowal. But the reason is this, as in, for I have hardened his heart, so we would later be able to make our own choice, as this is called labor without support. If I didn't have an opposite situation to what I want to attain, then we wouldn't have our choice, free choice. His intention was to bring us to the desired wholeness. Okay, so at the end of the day, we want to get to where the Creator wants us to get to. There's a purpose to life. Everybody's life has one purpose: to achieve adhesion with the Creator. In order for us to get to that, I have to change, to go through some changes. And that changes from an egoistic desire to receive to an altruistic desire to bestow. So every time I want to get to bestowal within me, I'm going to have something that is against specifically that attribute of bestowal. So on the one hand, I've got the desire to receive. On the other hand, in order to turn it to bestowal, I have to have an increase in the burdening of the heart. And if I didn't have that, we wouldn't have free choice. Okay. If we don't have free choice, it would have been an instinctive development. Okay, we would have been like animals. So the Creator has to create some kind of heaviness to the elevation that He wants to bring us to. Excerpt number 7. If the heart is broken, meaning the will to receive controls the heart, abundance cannot enter there, because everything that the will to receive receives will go to the klipot, the other side. This is called the breaking of the heart. Hence, a person prays to the Creator and says, "You must help me because I'm worse than everyone. Since I feel that the will to receive controls my heart, and this is why nothing of holiness can enter my heart. I want no luxuries, only to be able to do something for the sake of the Creator, and I'm utterly incapable of this. So only you can save me." All right, so this is an interesting spot. This is the kind of situation we need to get to, where I want to do something for the Creator. I don't know what exactly, because we don't really know what bestowal is. Okay, so, but we've come to a spot, a place in our work where we understand that I just want to get something done for the Creator. And we don't know what it is, how we're going to do it, and so on. And the whole idea is that we understand that we're fully controlled by our will to receive. So it really makes it impossible for us to bestow to the Creator. I can't do anything in bestowal. This is why it says you can't get any abundance from there. Why? Because if I take anything in my desire to receive, while I'm still in my egoistic nature, everything, all the light, will go to the klipot, the other side, the evil inclination. So this is called the breaking of the heart. So on the one hand, I really want to do an act of bestowal to the Creator. On the other hand, I really can't do anything. Okay, because my nature is still egoistic. Hence, the person prays to the Creator and says, "You must help me because I'm worse than everyone. Since I feel that the will to receive controls my heart, and this is why nothing of holiness can enter my heart." Okay, so this is a real sensation where a person needs help. But this is the kind of help we need to, this is the kind of demand for help we need to come to. And this can only happen when we've really exhausted all our avenues. Without this exhaustion, without really giving it everything, without really, squeezing that last drop of effort in the wisdom of Kabbalah, a person really doesn't get to that. So coming to this point takes a bit of time. It really takes a person a long time until he's just flat out, and that he's got no other choice except to create his help. He can't have any other, how can I say, there's nothing else that he can do, and there's only the Creator that can help him. But you can see he's only got one desire here. I want no luxuries, only to be able to do something for the sake of the Creator. So in his heart, there are no other desires. And this is the kind of state we need to get to, that inside of us, there really must not be another desire. Because if I have another desire, it means I'm not fully heartedly really wanting the Creator. Okay? Wholeheartedly means I only have one desire, and that's it. So that kind of level, that kind of sensation is really crucial if we want to get the help of the Creator. excerpt number 8. When we want to walk in the work, meaning with the aim of the heart, to intend that all his work will be for the sake of the Creator, then begins the order of the work. That is, the wicked in his heart, which are called will to receive for oneself, resist working for the sake of the Creator. However, God has made them one opposite the other, meaning that to the extent that he wants to walk on the path of truth, to that extent, the truth about the evil within him appears. Wow, this is really nice. Let's read it again. When we want to walk in the work, meaning with the aim of the heart, to intend that all our work will be for the sake of the Creator, then begins the order of the work. So our work doesn't really start until we get to this point, okay? And so this could take a while on itself. Let's read that again. When we want to walk in the work, meaning with the aim of the heart, to intend that all his work will be for the sake of the Creator, then begins the order of the work. So until I come to a situation where I want my work to be for the sake of the Creator, Calvinist is saying, well, there's really not much work you're doing, okay? Because all the hard stuff start after that. Why? Because that is the wicked in his heart, which are called will to receive for oneself, resist working for the sake of the Creator. So only if I fully understand what working for the Creator means, what, refusing my desire to receive for myself is, until I come to a point where I really understand what that is. He says, I'm not really doing a lot of work, just working, doing some stuff, but that's not the essence of the work. The essence of the work is when I come to a situation, when I intend that the work will be for the sake of the Creator, then against that point, I'm going to have difficulties. Okay, so our normal day-to-day routine difficulties in life isn't really part of the deal. The deal is that I understand I want to do everything for the sake of the Creator. Then I'm going to have dramas, because then the evil in me is going to say, no, I don't want to do this. However, God has made them one opposite the other, meaning that the extent that he wants to walk in the path of truth, to that extent, the truth about the evil within him appears. So until then, evil doesn't appear. All right, and this is why we have to come to a situation where we're like really precise on what we want. Okay, precision. That's what we want to be looking at. Also, the evil inside of us should be specifically aimed against bestowal. So when we're feeling heavy or lacking desire to work and so on, it's not really our desire to receive, not wanting to do stuff, but the real work is like when I understand that I want to do something to bestow. That's when the real, that's when the real traits in me against bestowal is going to appear. Okay, this is excerpt number 9. Anyone who's greater than his friend, his inclination is greater than him. In other words, the Creator deliberately hardens his heart so he would be able to make a choice once more. For in each choice, a person gains the letters of the Torah. Thus, the signs are not for the sake of the Creator, but for the sake of man. It therefore follows that the hardening of the heart is only for man's sake, for by this he will be rewarded with the letters of the Torah. Although during the fact a person does not feel all that he is meant to feel when he has completed his discernment, what he has done all the time is revealed to him at once. All right, let's read this again. Anyone who's greater than his friend, his inclination is greater than him. All right, so the more egoism we have, basically saying the better. Right? So the more of an egoist I am, the better I am. Why? Because the more opportunity I have to go higher. If I have a little ego, right, then I can bestow less. If I have a big ego, I have to overcome more, so I can bestow more. This is why we're supposed to be the most egoists, right? Why? Because, well, everybody's after the corporeal desires, right? Like money, fame, or whatever. Well, we're after the creator. So what we want is like on top of everything. So having a small ego means I can't do much for the creator. What does it mean to do something for the creator? It means I want to receive more. Why? Because the creator is the will to bestow. So if the creator is the will to bestow, how am I going to bring contentment to the creator? By receiving more of what he has to give, but in order to bestow. Okay, does that make sense? In other words, the creator deliberately hardens his heart so he would be able to make a choice once more, for in each choice a person gains the letter of the Torah. Letters are vessels. Okay, so the more I'm advancing through hardship, right, the more I can bestow to the creator. I can have a choice. Thus, the signs are not for the sake of the creator, but for the sake of man. So everything that's happening here is really for the benefit of us, for the benefit of man. Okay, not for the benefit of the creator. We want to benefit the creator, but all the process we're going through is for our benefit. It therefore follows that the hardening of the heart is only for man's sake. Why? Because if I overcome my hardening, I can bestow. For by this he will be rewarded with the letters of the Torah. Although during the fact a person does not feel that he is meant to feel, when he has completed his discernment, what he has done all the time is revealed to him at once. So once I overcome something, during an overcoming of a difficulty, I don't see anything. What's the situation then? It's a hard state. I have to push myself and overcome and go above it. While I'm in this process, I don't really see the benefit of it. I only see the benefit once the state is over. Okay. And this is a bit of a drama. Why? Because we get to see results after. So if I'm going through a difficult situation, more often than not, it's easier to give up on most things. I can give up the advancement. I can just give up, basically. All right. Why? Because I don't see what I'm going to get out of it. I can only see what I'm going to get out of something once it's done, once I'm over it. Okay. So because I'm always seeing the benefit after the hardship, it's a bit hard to keep going. Okay. Let's see, Irina, you got a question?
Yeah. In a previous excerpt, I think it was 8. It doesn't matter. When you said evil aimed at bestowal, what did you mean? Like anytime you encounter evil inclination, what does it mean? Like you said, evil aimed at bestowal.
Come again?
Evil aimed at bestowal.
Evil aimed at bestowal?
Yeah.
Okay. If I don't have evil, I don't have anything to turn into good.
Okay.
Okay. So in the wisdom of Kabbalah, what is evil? Evil is using my desires for myself. Because if I'm always using my desires for my self-contentment, I'm always going to be using it egoistically, and that's always going to harm somebody else. If all of us are using our desire to receive for ourselves, for our own benefit, it's going to be obvious that we're all harming each other to fulfill ourselves. This is why we have a problem in the world, right? Everybody wants to fulfill their own desires, but without taking into consideration the well-being of everybody else. Okay. So our
And also,
egoistic,
yes, yeah.
yeah,
Also, so you go above it, above your egoistic desire. It's the same thing.
going above
It
it
just
is not, yeah, going above it is a
so,
different thing. If I'm going above the desire to receive, I've come to a point where I can restrain myself and not use the desire.
oh, okay.
Okay, because I see it's doing me harm. All right, it's like smoking. You want to give up smoking, you all of a sudden see the state of your lungs, let's say on X-ray, okay, and it looks really bad. So you have a desire to smoke, you like it, you enjoy it, but you understand it's causing you harm, so you go above the desire. Although you want to smoke, you don't smoke. You are controlling the desire. That's what it means to go above it. If I'm
Okay.
within the desire, I'm just following the desire and doing whatever I want to do. So
And
that
when you aimed at bestow evil at bestowal, it means you like converting your, like say, envy, right? That evil inclination, envy. You kind of change it into bestowal. That's what
correct.
you mean?
Yeah, you can change
So
any
it's few
inclination.
tricks to do with evil inclination, right?
Yeah,
Either you restrict or you changing it to bestowal.
exactly, exactly.
Do we
Our
have
whole,
anything more we can trick?
uh,
Any other tools?
the only other tool, the way to turn it into bestowal is like we read before. I have to come to a state where the creator shows me how to bestow with that desire. Okay. This
Oh,
is the whole trick, because I'm in a desire to receive egoistically. I can't change my own nature, right? I didn't create myself. Okay. So as I'm studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, I begin to discern inside of me all these bad desires, inclinations I have. Actually, the desire is not the bad thing. The intention to do things for my self-benefit, that's the bad thing. And that's what we need to change. All right. So having a desire, any desire, is not a bad thing, but fulfilling it, using it for my self-benefit without thinking of others, that's the bad thing, because by doing so, I cause harm to everybody else. Okay, does that make sense?
yes.
So what I want to know is from the creator, because his attribute is bestowal. I want to know from the creator, I want to learn how to bestow with this desire. How should I use any desire that I have in me, whatever it is, okay, in order to bestow? Now, for that, this change needs to happen. So the change can only happen if I want to change. So the Kabbalists are saying you're going to come to want to change, because as you study more and more, you're going to grow heavy. Okay. You're going to it's called the burdening of the heart. You're constantly seeing how your own nature is bringing bad things to you. Okay. And this causes like heaviness inside of us.
But it's all desires that we encounter in our 10, right? Nothing
Yeah,
like you don't bring any outside desires into the 10, basically.
correct.
It's all
Correct.
about only spiritual work. When
Correct.
you mingle with your friends and all of a sudden something comes up in your thought or actions, whatever,
Exactly.
that's where we work with that.
Exactly.
I just
Why?
don't
Because,
understand the whole concept. Like we
yes,
in this world, creator sent us into this world, and we working only in a group. Like I have to separate these two worlds totally. It's hard to comprehend for me. Like why then we're here?
correct.
What's
But,
gonna happen to these desires? In this world, what's
correct.
gonna happen to them?
It's a good question. The reason we're only working in the group is to bring spirituality on top of everything else. Okay, because we have a bunch of desires, right? We want to, I don't know, you want to go on a holiday, maybe you want to get rich, maybe you want to have, I don't know, you want to have things in life. corporeal desires, right? We have corporeal desires as well. When we're working only in the group, what we're doing is this. We're raising the importance of our spiritual desire on top of all the corporeal stuff. Okay. By doing so, I'm showing the creator that this is the only thing I want. Okay. Remember when we read here somewhere, when we want to walk in the work, meaning with the aim of the heart to intend that all his work will be for the sake of the creator, for everything, for all my desires to be for the sake of the creator, I need to increase the importance of bestowal. Corporeal life is the importance of everything I want for me. So spirituality is increasing the desire to bestow. And this is why I'm always working in the group in that direction. So on the one hand, I'm inside corporeality during the day. On the other hand, I've got the 10, where I'm inside a spiritual environment, always working towards bestowal. Remember, I said a minute ago, when you want to go above the desire, right? So that the desire doesn't control you, but you control the desire. You can only control your desires if something else is more important than the desire. Okay, so for example, I've got two desires, let's say, right? Let's say I've got two desires. One, let's say I want a new job, and the other one is I want to go on holiday. Okay, so I have to think for myself, well, which one is more important? Okay, so I work on what's more important because I understand that I'm not going to go on a holiday if I don't have money. Okay, so I understand I have to have a job, work, get money, and then go on holiday. Right? So in corporeality, I'm always making a calculation about what's more important. And according to the importance, I'm going after the desires that I have. So now in spirituality, when we're in a spiritual environment, on the one hand, I've got my corporeal life where I want corporeal stuff. On the other hand, I've got my spiritual environment. And on my spiritual side, I'm trying to increase the importance of spirituality. If I increase the importance of spirituality, make this more and more important, then I bring this on top of the other desires. Now, I'm not chasing after my corporeal desires like I used to before mindlessly. But I've got spirituality on top of everything. And then I can fulfill my corporeal stuff according to the need that I have. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but when those desires going to be corrective, like some of those desires a little bit, off.
Yeah, absolutely. So of course we're gonna have
So
desires.
when they're gonna get corrected, it's like if we only work in the 10.
Yeah.
It's like in Marty.M.Meydan.
Well, we're gonna no, because before we get to Gimartikun, you can if spirituality is more important than my corporeal things, okay, I still use corporeality, but I use it smartly. I think about what I need rather than what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's like being smart. It's like living within your means rather than living above your means. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but let's say you like have some kind of luck and you don't really need all of that you have. What are you supposed to do? Like you limit yourself with necessity. What about the other stuff?
Yeah, exactly. But the idea is this, because spirituality is more important, living with the necessity does not bother you. It doesn't bother you because you're going for spirituality, you're going for something that you really want to go for. So the necessities isn't like a negative thing. You don't feel bad because you restricted something. That makes sense? If I want to become, I don't know, if I want to be, let's say I want to become a doctor, right? So for 6 years, I'm going to go to medical school. I understand it's difficult, but at the end of the day, it's important for me. So for that 6 years, I'm sacrificing a lot. I'm sacrificing from playtime, maybe from holidays. I don't know. I'm sacrificing a lot so that I can become a doctor. But I understand the sacrifice is necessary for what I want to attain. All right, so I'm making a calculation. Same here. Same here. But I understand spirituality is more important. So it's above the corporeal desires. So from corporeality, I'm happy to take just what I need. And it doesn't give me suffering at all. Because I understand I want something at the end of the deal, which I think and believe is far more important than my corporeal desires.
Okay, just your attitude. I understood.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
attitude.
Exactly. Spirituality is just a change in attitude. It really is.
I don't know if everyone else has questions, but like previous excerpts, I had like question about labor without support. When we were talking about innovation in Torah, you mentioned labor without support.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? We don't receive life? Labor
And
without support? We just go above reason? That's what he meant?
going above reason is already support from the creator. Okay. It really is. It's already like you're getting help. What we need to come to is a need for that support. And what we do is, as we work in the group, what we need to come to is a need for the support of the creator. That I need some help so that I can be above the desire.
Because I thought you're talking about different lights. Like yesterday, I was reading about upper light. It could be, I don't know, was it the Shemata or what? It could be light of Torah, but at some point you refuse to receive light of Torah because you have to go with faith above reason, which is also upper light.
Mm-hmm.
But
Correct.
you don't want, but you kind of like refusing to receive this light. I thought you were talking about the same thing.
Receiving of anything will give me light if it's like this light is pleasure, right? It's something I get inside the vessel. I can only receive it if I can bestow.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason why we have a dilemma in this world, because the desire and the pleasure, they cancel each other out. So no matter what I want in life, if I fulfill that desire, the fulfillment and the desire will cancel each other out. This is why I'm always left empty, chasing new things, going after something else, after something else, after something else all the time. Even if I get what I want, I feel empty simply because the desire and the fulfillment cancel each other out. So receiving the light is a state where I can bestow and get pleasure from bestowal. Now, if I can bestow correctly, I should always be in pleasure, which should never be depleted. So spirituality is an ongoing pleasure. Why? Because the act of bestowal, due to your love of others, has no end. Why doesn't it have an end? Well, because everybody is a desire to receive. Everybody wants something, right? So if I'm constantly bestowing into everybody's wants, then I'm in pleasure all the time.
But you don't have to think about it because then you're not bestowing already. So if you think about, oh, look, I got this light, but it leaves anyway, right? And after that, you have to go faith above reason. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because light leaves, your desire is corrected, right? Light leaves. And then you have to go faith above reason, which is also, like you said, it's support, but different kind. It's upper light, but it's a force.
It's the light that pulls you above the desire. It gives you the power to be above the desire.
So it's like when you're getting a new desire, you have to work with faith above reason, and then light comes in.
Exactly.
That's what it is. So you go from receiving
we always have
and
to
then
work with we always have to work with above reason in every state, because reason is me being inside my ego. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to put it aside. Okay, put my ego aside and then go above it. Putting it aside means I'm not using the desire. How can I not use the desire? Because I want something. Why should I just keep it aside and not use it? Well, I want to use it, but I want to use it properly. If I don't know how to use something properly, I don't want to touch it. So properly in spirituality means in order to bestow. So I'm not using the desire directly. I'm putting it aside. So first I'm going above it, above the desire to receive for myself. Does that make sense? That's called above reason.
It's like the work on the 10. You want to do something for yourself. Like yesterday, I encountered that. I want to do something for myself, but then I hear from a friend she wants to do something else. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have to cancel my desire and go with her desire.
Yeah,
Is it
not
the
a bad
right way
idea.
to?
Yeah, not a
Is
bad
it?
idea. You can try that.
I mean, even though, like, say, I know I would enjoy more whatever I do,
Yeah,
you know,
for
but I
sure.
have to go faith above reason, knowing it's probably what Creator wants and she wants it, and I go with that.
For sure. It's not a bad exercise, because then I begin to work with canceling my own desire for myself for the benefit of the fulfillment of somebody else. Okay.
Is it
So
the right way to work?
it's a right way to exercise how to work.
Mm.
It's a good exercise that I nullify my own desire for the desire of the friend, so that she can enjoy instead of me enjoying. It's a good exercise.
What do you mean exercise? Like it's not what really we're supposed to do? Or
It's not
exercise?
exactly, it's not. But exercise allows us to grow. It's like kids
Okay.
playing a game. So we're playing the game in the 10. So, if I nullify my desire, I go through feelings. So those feelings now become work for me. Okay, because I
Oh,
rather
that's
do
what
what,
it is.
yeah,
So
because I rather
exercise
do
gives
what I
you the
want to do.
work, right?
Yeah,
Exercise gives you the work.
yeah,
That's what real work is.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, because through the exercises, I can evaluate myself. If I want to do something, if I don't want to do something, despite the fact that I'm doing something that I don't want to, gives me a lot of feelings I can work with. Yeah, it
Okay.
allows me to discover my egoism, actually.
Okay. So this way I am like trying to increase the efficiency. I just like all this exercise have to make sense to me, sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't. That's why I don't like you said, oh, you're encountering all these egoistic desires while you're doing this exercise. So that's the real work that Kabbalist talk about.
Well, the
Those
real,
desires I'm correct what I'm correcting.
there you're
I'm
not
not
correcting.
correcting anything.
You're not correcting anything there, but it allows you to understand what egoism is. It allows you to see what the desire for self-reception is. And then you begin to delve into it. And then as you begin to delve into your egoism more and more, you begin to understand that this is really bad. Okay. This brings you to a desire to change. So despite the fact that you're not correcting anything, it gives you the ability to understand how bad egoism can be, right? And this allows you to want to change.
So it's a period that I have to go through when I acknowledge all my ego.
Yeah.
It's like going in a desert. That's the
Yeah.
period I'm going through
Yeah. So you
until
have
I
to,
get to Mount Sinai.
yeah, absolutely. We have to discover all the evil. Absolutely. So working in the 10 really allows me to see what is against the connection between us, what is against the good connection between us. That's, yeah.
And correcting desires is when we have the screen, then we're gonna correct desires.
Yeah, the real work
Only
starts.
after we get the screen, right? And
Yeah.
those 613 desires, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. That's all when we get the,
Okay.
yeah, that's all in spirituality.
All right,
So
now it makes sense.
Until then we're in kindergarten mode.
Mm-hmm. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Sorry.
That's right. Any other questions there, Ashley? No, nothing. Okay, that's fine. Well, let's call it a night. Let's call it a night for tonight. We have another program afterwards with the group. So let's call it a night. But it's been a good one. It allows us to clarify what we're doing in the 10 as well, and why it's really necessary to work in the 10. Because if I increase the importance of spirituality with the spiritual environment, that gives me the power to control my corporeal desires rather than corporeality controlling me all the time. Okay. And it's all a matter of importance. What I give importance to allows me to control. All right. So we'll get back again together next week, hopefully. And until then, have a good week altogether. Bye-bye.